so in love with you. You got me down again.
We've arrived. We're in my hometown, and when you meet the people here, it'll feel like your second hometown too. 4 words describe this city: fountains, barbecue, jazz, and sports. Now, other than Rome, Italy, this city has more fountains than any other city in the world. And it's the host of the world's largest barbecue competition, where regional, national, and international teams compete for the top barbecue prize. Oh, and jazz, it was invented here. And as far as sports go, we love our championships. And we're in the home of DLTransport. Where in the world is DL? Welcome to Kansas City, the city of fountains. Now it's time for us to show off. So we're down in the River Market neighborhood. Dating back to the 1800s, it's one of the oldest incorporated areas in what is now Kansas City. Today it's home to the City Market, surrounded by gourmet grocery stores, global eateries, and indie boutiques. Let's go meet up with one of our agents and take a stroll. Hey, so we're here today with Phil Roeder down here at the City Market in the River Market neighborhood. I'm pretty fired up to be hanging out with you, Phil. You've had a long logistics career, successful. At any point in time, did you ever think you'd be profiled on an episode like Where in the World is DNL?
Never in a million years, Brian. It's amazing to be here. I feel like a rock star right now. This is awesome. I haven't been down here in years, even though I'm from Kansas City. Glad to be here.
Well, and I'm glad you're here too. One of the reasons we are here is because you have had some success in this business. Do you have a secret sauce, or when you look back on your journey, are there things that you learned along the way that you think, hey, this is why I am where I am?
You know, just looking back at my career, I've been in this industry for a long time. I started out at a very large brokerage.
Corporate broker.
A corporate brokerage. I was a sales rep. Luckily, I got into the truckload space very quickly and early on. I didn't like LTL. I still don't like LTL necessarily. But basically, I moved on to a sales manager position. I was basically managing a team of 24 freight brokers. I got to the point where I felt more like a babysitter than a manager. Yeah. And I was ready to make a move. And the rest is history. I really just try to work hard, focus on each and every load, each and every customer, treat everybody with respect, and the rest is history.
And one of the things that I find very fascinating about you is you have a large book of business. For years, you did that on your own. I know that you've recently brought in Kristen, your wife.
Right.
And so for those folks out there, male and female, who are married, it's got to be challenging sometimes to work with your spouse. What have you seen in that relationship?
You know, I thought it would be. Honestly, it's been the best thing that ever could have happened because we get along great. She's there to help me, support me, and so far so good.
One of the things I've noticed about you is your stick-to-itiveness with making sure things get done the right way. Is that something you've always had ingrained in you?
Absolutely. It's, you know, the whole cradle to grave model with truckload, that's how I treat it, whether it's a customer that's given me one load or a million loads, I treat everybody the same, and I just make sure that I make those check calls, I cover the load, I follow it all the way to the final process of all the way to the invoice, and you know, that's what I do for every customer, and that's what I'm going to continue to do.
So Phil, obviously we've mentioned that you've had some success in this business, which is awesome. With success, a lot of times becomes some rewarding things. What are some of the things, or at least one thing you found really rewarding about your career in logistics?
I think it's just the relationships that I've built with people like yourself, everyone at the corporate office, other agents in the area, people that I get to meet at President's Clubs, also with customers, just building a rapport, having them trust me with their freight. The carriers, I love it when a carrier reaches out to me to say, hey, do you have another one of those loads? So just in general, it's the relationships with all of those entities.
Yeah, and sometimes it can be challenging in this business with carriers and customers because sometimes things do get heated. It can be challenging to maintain those relationships. How do you do that?
I mean, every phone call is not a good phone call. For me, it's communication. That's whether it's good news or bad news. I always make the extra call. I always do what's right just to communicate to whoever I need to, pass the news along to. So that's what the main thing is for me, is just communicating, taking the extra step, making the extra call.
And probably consistent with your comments there, what would you tell yourself 15, 20 years ago as you're getting started in this career?
Just do what's right. Be transparent. Work hard. Everything else will fall into place.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I've really noticed about you is you're forthright, transparent with folks, and a lot of times that can be a good thing for business.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm a lifer in Kansas City. I know you're a lifer in Kansas City. I don't get down to the city market very often, but when I'm here, boy, the liveliness, the food, the smells, it's great. You want to go check it out?
Absolutely.
All right, let's go. So we're walking around the city market and my sweet tooth got to me. It was pinging. So we're about to go into Bloom Baking Company, known for its macarons. I can't wait. Let's do a dozen, 2 of each. Cinnamon Toast Crunch macaron. Now that is good. Hey, let's hop over to the East Bottoms and hang out with Matt. So in the early 1900s, Kansas City was home to 2 of the most prominent public attractions in the country. We're here at Electric Park, first constructed in 1899 by the Heim brothers, who owned the brewery next door. Now, this was one of the first beer gardens ever seen, as beer was piped in from the brewery across the street. Now look, the attendance quickly outgrew capacity, so they built the second Electric Park in 1907. And in fact, Walt Disney was cited as saying this second Electric Park was his vision for the first Disneyland. That's pretty cool. So we're here at J. Rieger and Company, known for distilling in Kansas City since the late 1800s. Now the J. Rieger name, along with Heim Beer and Electric Park, were revitalized in 2014 to bring back some of the mystique and excitement of the long, rich Kansas City history. Hey, so we're here with Matt Smith. Matt, we're in Kansas City. Pumped to be here. It's your hometown, it's my hometown. I know it means a lot to you. Tell me a little bit about what this town has done for you, what it means for you.
It's home. So it's every time if I'm out of town and I come in and I look down, if I'm driving in, it's always going to be home. It's just the place I've grew up in.
Being a solo agent like yourself, I know it can be challenging with the time constraints. You were telling me earlier about golf day. Tuesdays are your golf day. I'm impressed by that you've carved out that time to kind of break away from the office. Tell me how you did that and how that's helped you in your career.
Brian, it's just getting out and getting to do something. I mean, even if you're getting phone calls at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, golfing basically it takes the stress off of the day. I say the day, it's almost the whole week. It gives you that one day and it gets you going, it gives you that outside time, basically.
Yeah. One thing that's really neat about you, Matt, is the longevity you've had with DLTransport. You're one of the original agents in this company, so you've been here for over 20 years.
Everything's just set up just right, the way I like it. I mean, you get to sit at home and work, and everybody treats me good at the office, so everything works out good for me. I mean, I've always respected the DLTransport and just always been good.
You're very good at Not getting stressed at the ebbs and flow of the industry. I've seen you lose a customer before. Just naturally it happens to agents. Tell me about that. Is that something ingrained in you? Is that something you could teach someone?
It's really now, it takes some time. I don't know if you could teach someone that, but yeah, I mean, just because it's not showing outwardly, you still are having that, you know, you lose a customer, it's there. You're always gonna have, you know, it's losing money, so it is what it is. And you don't want to lose a customer for the simple fact is, you know, that's who you are. It makes like somebody quit on you, you know. So I would not, you know, other than the simple fact is if you do, there's a lot more. I mean, just work harder, find something better, you know, work to find a customer maybe better than the one you lost.
Yeah, and that's one thing that's always really impressed me about you is your confidence with that, because confidence is a big part of sales and building relationships. What would you tell someone who's just getting going in this business?
You gotta want it. You gotta put the time in. You gotta keep, you know, if the first one doesn't work, keep moving on. Like I said, if you don't have the clientele and you need more, you just gotta keep trying and pushing and keep calling, basically.
What's your secret? I mean, to do anything for 20 years, it takes perseverance, but it also takes a high level of success.
If you do get clientele, you make sure that customer's number one. You always answer in the phone. It doesn't matter if it's whatever time of the day it is. They're number one. You answer it. Try to answer it on the first ring. You want to be right there for them. If you can answer it on the first ring, that sounds crazy, but guess what? They know you're there. They don't have to worry about even ringing 2 times. That's how close you have to be for that person. As far as success goes, because there's ups and downs, is just let it kind of, you got to kind of let it go up your back a little bit on some things. I mean, because this industry gets hectic, you're going to have a load that, you know, you need to move, but yet, you know, you're stressing on it. I have one right now. It's in my mind right now, but it's not. You know, you throw it back. I've got to move. I know that somebody's out there right now waiting for me to get a truck in there. And yet, yeah, it's very stressful. Right now, I don't even have a truck. It's just sitting nowhere. No, there's no truck anywhere. Yeah. But I have no doubt when we get done talking, I'm going to go over there, get on the phone, make things happen, and somebody will be there. You know, it'll be taken care of. But you just can't stress over the small things or really the large things. Just kind of make sure you keep up with your stuff and make sure that all your ducks are in a row so you don't get in trouble.
I'm guessing that this career's been rewarding for you, at least for the most part. I know there's been some challenges. What's been rewarding for you about what you've done in your logistics journey?
The most rewarding is the money. I like money, and I mean, that's what I strive to do, and I think people work because they want the money. Yeah. So that's the number one thing. I mean, as long as you take care of your stuff and you're your own boss and you can put your kid on the bus, you can do a lot of things, you know, that a lot of agents have told you before, but it's just the simple things like that you get to do that people have to go to work, you know, don't. But then there's, you know, obviously the downfall where you can't go on vacations without having to work.
Rewind 20 years, would you do it again?
Yes, I'd do it again. Yep, right. Definitely.
You ever been here before?
I have not. I've been around here, but yeah, it's neat.
I haven't either, and we're on the grounds of J. Rieger and Company, the distillery. They've got a really neat tour that you can take a look at the distillery and all the history here. You want to go take a look?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Let's go.
Cool.
Yeah, let's go.
Sweet.
Kansas City barbecue. Need I say more? Now, the roots of Kansas City barbecue can be traced back to the 1920s when Henry Perry started barbecuing meat on a pit and served it in newspapers. And now we have names like Arthur Bryant's, Gates, Fiorella's Jack Stack, and LC's. And some of the new kids on the block, like Q39 and Joe's Kansas City. Well, we're here today at one of the most famous, Arthur Bryant's, portrayed in that show Ted Lasso, and it's the spot where all the presidents visiting Kansas City stop. I can't wait, I can smell the meat now. Let's go see. Tony, hey, what's up, buddy? Good. Let's get some burn-ins.
Let's do it.
Burn-ins, please. Fries, beans, and coleslaw, please.
The 3B and baby back ribs.
We all had the spot we went to growing up, and then we have the spot we go to now.
Okay, so growing up, since I lived in the KCK area, Rosedale Barbecue was always real popular.
Rosedale, yeah.
You know, it has a unique sauce, which is what I remember from here. They have a unique flavored
Vinegar.
sauce. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
right?
growing up, it was a place to go, right? But then, like you said, as you got older, you know, we found a different place. In my 20s, it was Zarda's, and then now, like if I could pick anywhere to go, it's going to be 239.
Yeah. The new school.
Especially since it's by the office.
Yeah.
So.
You were on the corporate side of logistics. Tell me about that transition. I know it's been a while, but there are folks out there that are considering, hey, I'm in a corporate environment. Could I do the agent model? And I know you've had a lot of success, so walk me through.
You know, it was great. Learned the industry, became pretty successful at it. What I didn't like is kind of the micromanagement all the time.
Yeah.
Starting at 8:05 when you clocked in. What they took from me was the ability to service my customer. It was easier for me to transition from a W-2 to a contractor because in the mortgage industry, I was 1099.
Yeah.
So it was very similar, you eat what you kill. And it was cradle to grave, from doing loans, you start with the application, you help the customer all the way through, and I would go to all my closings. I like to see my little one on the bus in the morning, I like to be there when he gets home. So being able to, leave my desk at the office and, work on the phone to be able to get home to see my kid off the bus is just really important to me.
Folks that are out there grinding with cold calls and grinding, what you have to do in this business to get some start. But for you, a good chunk of your building your book of business came off referrals.
Yes.
And I think that's often an overlooked area in our space is, look, you can grind as much as you want with cold calls, but if you service your relationships you have now, they're gonna refer you. And I know you've seen that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's no better lead than a warm lead, which is, a referral. So I don't think any customers I have now were not referrals. Being able to have that relationship and not letting, maybe the corporate model where they want you to delegate things to customer service and whatnot, it makes it that much easier for me to get those referrals.
Right.
Instead of saying, hey, customer service guy, will you please call my customer and fix this problem for me?
Yeah.
Which they don't like because they have to explain the whole situation with somebody else.
Yeah. Whew, Tony, that was delicious.
It was, very good.
18th and Vine is right down the street. You wanna go take a look?
Sure, I've never been there.
Well, let's go. The next stop on the tour of Kansas City, 18th and Vine, the historic 18th and Vine. Now, if you know anything about Kansas City, it's famous for a few things, one of them being jazz. Jazz got its start here in Kansas City in the 1920s and 1930s. Folks like Charlie Parker and Count Basie got their start right here on 18th and Vine. We got the Gym Theater, we got the Blue Note down the street. It's a beautiful place, it's an awesome street. Let's go take a look. So one of the cornerstones here at 18th and Vine is a true slice of American history, the Negro League's Baseball Museum. It's right behind me, and Tony and I have tickets. Let's go inside. You ever corked a bat?
Is that a trick question? But baseballs have a little bit of cork inside of them. And you can tell this is all chewed up because that's where they hit their bottom of their spikes.
Neat spot here, a lot of history, both athletically and United States history. It's a really neat place. I've really enjoyed watching in your careers how you've mentored. Number one, why do you do that? Number two, what has that been rewarding for you?
Oh, absolutely. When you see those agents becoming really successful and they're just kind of letting them out on their own, when they come back to you and say, hey man, you've changed my life. Thank you. To me, that's as rewarding, if not more rewarding than, a little bit of extra compensation.
When you bring somebody up under your wing or you mentor these folks, what do you teach them?
Give them just a little nudge of giving them the confidence to go ahead and take that step. Because for me, it was, a life changer.
Yeah. And then having you there, that's got to help with their confidence. Having you there, you've got the chops, you've got the experience to really help them through some of those.
Yeah, all the guys we bring on, that I brought on are experienced in the industry already.
Yeah.
So they know. It's just, the new platform, the new TMS, and taking that leap, man, that leap and confidence in themselves to see that they can do it.
Yeah, very cool. Now we've talked about a lot of neat things about you today, Tony, and possibly the top thing for me about you is that you can hit 100-mile-an-hour fastball.
Maybe like 89. I don't know much faster than that.
Now, are you ready to race the bases?
Oh, sure.
All right. Awesome talking with you, Tony. We'll see you Thursday for the tailgate, buddy. So here in Kansas City, we're known for tailgating at Chiefs games. At D&L, we're known for tailgating before the tailgate party. Let's go see what we got rocking in here. Now you may remember these guys from our Grand Rapids episode. We invited some Lions fans here to Kansas City. Let's say hello. What's up, guys? So who we pulling for today, Lions or Chiefs?
Come on! Come on! You can ask that.
We're here at the world's largest tailgate party, ahead of the Chiefs' season opener against the Lions. I can smell the burgers, I can smell the brisket, I can see the smoke. There's so much great energy out here. You walk around a little bit, you might see some local celebrities like Paul Rudd, Jason Sudeikis, maybe Heidi Gardner. I can't wait to hang out. Let's go. What's the specialty? The burgers and the corn. And the corn. Can I try a little corn?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Dorito. This is something new. Chiefs tailgate.
The cheesy corn. The cheesy corn is good.
That's probably the bombest fucking.
On the Dorito.
There you go.
That was amazing.
I love it. Let's go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs!
All right.
Woo!
Whew. What a day in Kansas City. Went to Rieger, then hopped over to 18th and Vine, went down to the River Market, ate some delicious barbecue at Bryant's, and most importantly, got to hang with Tony, Phil, and Matt. And what a way to top it off than at Arrowhead Stadium for a great tailgate. We'll see you next time on Where in the World is D&L?